Hello, beautiful people. How you doing? Good to see you. Hit that like button. Shout out to everybody who's watching. Shout out to all of the members here on YouTube and all of the subscribers here on YouTube. Shout out to all the members on Patreon and all of the supporters on Substack. Shout out to everybody who has copped their pre-sale of the second edition of Bloodlines and Battle Rhymes in paperback or hardcover. It is now also available unsigned in the regular bookstore. Follow the link in the description, or one of the mods will drop the link in the chat if you want to get your pre-sale order in for a signed copy of Exhibit A, which is forthcoming. Use the same link for that as well. Over the weekend, I shared with y'all, and it's on the post tab here on YouTube, the draft. I have some names to add, some draft of the dedication page. That is going to be in Exhibit A, Aubrey Drake Graham versus the Culture. Thank you. And I said from the beginning, when I teased this a couple weeks ago, I said from the beginning that I was going to be going back several months and compiling a list of people who have donated directly through YouTube and a couple other people that I want to put on there because it's my book and I get to decide who it's dedicated to. So I just want to say, for anybody who may be confused, I'm not going to change this. If you leave a comment on the post tab underneath this post, or you message me and you tell me that your name needs to be on the dedication page because et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, I'm going to take a screenshot of your comment underneath this post, and then I'm going to delete it because it's messing with the energy of the post. If you send me a message, I'm going to block you. If you send me an email, I'm going to block you. But I'm going to keep copies of your handle so I know that who you are, so that I know who you are. And I'm never going to dedicate anything to you. I did not ask for anybody's advice or thoughts or opinions on which group of supporters I should include in this book or why. And I'm just going to be perfectly honest, have a candid moment here, be perfectly honest with you. I think it's really crappy to try and center yourself. And this happened in the first edition of Bloodlines. So if you bought the first edition and you're in it in the dedication line, I'm glad that you got it. Because in the second edition of Bloodlines, the dedication page has changed drastically. Because I got so many people giving me grief about what wasn't on that page. And so I don't care about your gripes. I'm not going to center you. I'm going to stick with my decision of people that have given super chats, super thanks here during a live. Those are the people that I am including on the dedication page of this book. And if you gave or supported in another way, I hope that you know that it has been invaluable and you are a part of this community and a part of making it flourish. And you should not see it as a slight or I intentionally decided to leave you out. And if you see it that way, that is a you problem. I don't want to hear about it. I'm not responsible for your feelings. By the time this is the draft list, by the time it's done, there will be at least 150 different handles on here of folks who have given. And if that doesn't suit your needs, That is not my problem. So stop trying to steal other people's joy. Stop trying to center yourself. And if you feel that strongly about it, drop a super chat, drop a super thanks, drop a super sticker. And you may find your way in there. Unless I already took a screenshot of your handle, and then it won't matter. Because I meant what I said. I will never dedicate anything to you for that. So, hit the link in the description for all of your pre-order needs. If you want to get a bundle of both books signed, you can do that as well. Exhibit A will be available once it is done, once we get that ruling. The book will be done very shortly thereafter, very shortly. And it will be available for signed paperback and hardcover, and it will also just be available in the bookstore. I'll update the website with the links. I'll announce it, etc., etc. All right. All right. Great. Okay, so we can move on with the agenda for the day. We got a lot to talk about. It filled up this morning. It filled up this morning as I was scrolling the news, and I know there might be somebody who was like, "I'm gonna give a super chat," that was like, "Wait, I don't want people to think I'm trying to center myself to get into the book." It's okay. It's all right. But yeah, the agenda got really busy this morning. If you do want to drop a super chat, you feel so tempted, you want to get the topic started off, you could drop a super chat and say, "Hey, start here," and we could do that. But don't worry, don't worry. Your super chat is free and clear. Okay, we're not going to project onto it. We're not going to assign any negative energy to it. It's all good. But I really did need to clarify that because I'm doing my best, Tom. I'm doing my best. Okay? I'm doing my best. Well, thank you. It's Monday. It's Monday. Thank you, beautiful. And thank you, beautiful. Hello, good to see you. Okay, so seeing no brave soul dropping a super chat. I will go ahead and get us started with a quick one, which is that Salt and Peppa, we talked about this some time ago, back in May. Salt and Peppa has sued UMG, arguing that their music ownership is supposed to. We've got a court document for Issa, so we're going to hold that until the end. But thank you for the $5 contribution. I appreciate you. Salt and Peppa filed a lawsuit saying, per our original contract with UMG, our ownership of our music is supposed to revert back to us at this point. And UMG has filed in response a motion to dismiss, saying that they're not the ones that signed the contract, so they don't get anything. And today, Salt and Peppa have gone on Good Morning America. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I used an old picture on the thumbnail because only one person in that interview is recognizable slightly. The other person looks like a completely different person. I was like, who is that? But today they sat down with Robin Roberts and said UMG has stopped streaming our music. Let's see. UMG has stopped streaming our music in retaliation for us suing them, which I thought was an interesting move. Um, I didn't expect to see Salt and Peppa on Good Morning America talking about their any aspect of their lawsuit whatsoever. Um, but they really stuck it to them with that level of visibility to call them out and say, and it's all over the news. So it worked. They got the news coverage that they wanted to call out UMG and say UMG is retaliating against us for filing this lawsuit by not streaming our music anymore. So strategically, I just got to give it to him because that was a good play. That was a good play. I don't watch Good Morning America, so the only way that I knew about this was because it had reached, you know, other mainstream media, Variety, Billboard, on and on and on and on, NBC News, Business News, because streaming, money, etc. So with one interview, they made a huge earned media impact on their narrative of what is happening. And they don't disagree that somebody else signed the contract. They still assert, we're the artists, it's our shit. It should revert to us. So obviously no decision being made, but yeah, fully commend them on that strategy and slapping UMG down first thing on a Monday morning. Bravo. Bravo, ladies, bravo.
High five. I'm bulletproof.
And one of the things that they said in the interview this morning was obviously our music is worth something, or they wouldn't be holding on to it so badly. But it's ours. We want it back. And now they're retaliating against us. And I commend them for the lawsuit, and I commend them for calling them out. And again, the earned media is media that you didn't pay for. So you did one interview, and then a bunch of outlets covered it for you without you having to do that additional work to go and speak to all of those outlets because you sat down with Robin Roberts on Good Morning America. You're not on All Hip Hop. You're not on 97 point whatever. You're on America's morning television as a recognizable, maybe not face, but a recognizable name, a fully recognizable name. That's Salt and Peppa fighting UMG. And now UMG is retaliating against them. So seizing control of that narrative on a national platform. Thank you, beautiful. A. Brown with the $20 contribution. Thank you. Just goes to show because UMG is doing the right thing versus Drake doesn't mean they're doing it for anyone's benefit but their own. And they're still a mega corporation and everything that implies. Yes. And we've talked about that several times. And I've always appreciated the nuance of the chat of like, well, I guess on this Drake thing, we've picked a side. It's not the best side, but it's the right side. It's also not the worst side. It's not the worst side. It's not the best side, but it's the right side on that issue, even though they're in full CYA mode as well. But yeah, overall, they are a conglomerate. They don't care about artists. And we've talked a lot about the business of being older in the rap game. And what are your options for making your own livable wage? And, being able to take care of yourself and being able to diversify where your money is coming from. Ownership of their music is massive. Their music is still licensed in today for whatever. They're a cornerstone of hip hop. So it's a precious commodity and worth the fight. And I hope they win. People, being nuanced requires having a spine, you know, being nuanced and not just going flipping from one end of the binary on an issue to the other end of a binary on an issue requires being an adult, being able to communicate, the why. And a lot of people just don't have that level of communication skill or willingness to communicate. A lot of people are scared to say what they really mean and why. So they do the all or nothing. This is why Drake stands are like, he can never do wrong. Yes, he can. That's irrational. All people can and do wrong. That's why they TPing that brother on stage. I have no idea, but the deal is, I think, was signed in 84, if I remember correctly. I believe the deal was signed in 84. Signed contract copyrights will revert to you after 35 years. We've done all the things legally to get our copyright back, but they're just refusing, so we had to sue them. "1985. To be held," so this is a quote, "We didn't have leverage. We didn't have knowledge about who signs the contract on their behalf. We didn't have that control in the '80s. We've discussed this. And so to be held to a contract from 1985 and 40 years later, it's ridiculous." So, it's been a long time. They're being honored at the 2025 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this November, receiving the Musical Influence Award. Well deserved, because Salt and Pepper is, like I said, a cornerstone of hip hop, and for damn sure an influence. Put some respect on their name. I don't have the foggiest idea what this is that you're referring to. And also, I don't care. Okay? I don't care if people live in the land of delusion or confusion. That's not my responsibility. I don't care if they spout things off that aren't true. Just because they spout them doesn't make them true. Has no impact on my life whatsoever. I don't run around worried about what Drake fans are going to spin it as. And they're in a silo of their own making, an echo chamber. Everything that they scream out bounces back off, and then they hear it back and they think that means something. And anybody outside of that echo chamber who thinks it's actual power doesn't understand actual power. I never give a shit. Wrong place to ask a question. Are Drake fans gonna? I don't give a good goddamn fuck what they do, what they say, what their motivation is. It means nothing, and it has no power over anything. Welcome. So that's Salt and Peppa. We'll move on to Soulja Boy. I have a very special introduction for him because I think he's so worthy. We talk about honorable men. We spent quite some time over the weekend talking about how honorable Drake is and laying out examples of how honorable Drake is. And I do believe that Soulja Boy is worthy of the exact same homage. Yes. Huh. Soulja, I regularly raped and beat and sometimes kept a woman as prisoner and was ordered by a jury of my peers to pay her $4.25 million. Boy has been arrested and charged with weapons crimes. Short and to the point, he was arrested by the Los Angeles Police Department around 2:35 this morning. A routine traffic stop. Not in LA, not at 2:35 in the morning. Not when you black. I mean, I guess it's routine for them. But yes, they found him in the passenger seat in possession of weapons that he's not supposed to have because he's a felon. Mhm. Yeah. 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 That's one full-on piece of shit of a man. Yeah. Yeah. Maybe it's karma catching up to you since you were never convicted of beating and raping and holding a woman against her will. Maybe this is karma. I don't know. I don't know. And I don't have much else to say. That's the update on Soulja Boy. Soulja, I regularly raped and beat and kept a woman prisoner and was ordered by a jury of my peers to pay $4.25 million. Boy is in jail because he's a dummy. And he had pew-pews he wasn't supposed to have, and he's a felon. That's bad. You're not supposed to do that when you're a felon. No. I don't like it. I don't like it when grown men call themselves boy, and I don't like it when grown men call themselves lil. Not a fan of the lil. Not a fan of the lil. Not a single one. Not one, including John. I said what I said. Is that NBA MAGA boy? Mhm. Fuck him too. Him too. Him too. He could just we know who Wayne is. You ain't gotta add the lil. We know who Wayne is. He could drop that. Make me feel like Cedric the Entertainer. I ain't about to call another man delicious, dog. I'm not about to do that. I'm not about to do that. No, I'm not calling you Lil. Lil? No. Full stop, it's a no. Full stop, it's a no. Full stop, it's a no. Lil dropping knowledge bombs now, see. Here we go. Here we go. I think it's hilarious that he got clowned by Donnie, of all people, for calling himself the God. Can you imagine if I gave myself that nickname? People would be outraged. Low IQ, doesn't understand words. Oh, when MAGA clowns MAGA, it cracks me up. The boy? I don't fucking think so. I don't fucking think so. I mean, I don't need you to, talk about a first impression. That's another abso-fucking-lutely not for me. The boy? Abso-fucking-lutely not. I am not backing it up for somebody who calls himself and his people around him call him the boy with a straight face. I'm not backing it up for that. I'm not doing that. I'm not bouncing on it. I'm not doing none of that. I need a man. I will ban you from this universe. 5'5", what of it? Now this is fucking brutal. Aubrey seems like he would willingly hop on the auction block. No, you know what he seems like? He seems like the motherfucker who'd have the nerve to try and get down off the auction block because he didn't think the price was high enough. I might be going to hell for that. I'll think about that later, but for now, I'm gonna give myself a high five for it. It feels right.
High five. I'm bulletproof.
I said what I said. I said what I said. I don't regret it. I'm not taking it back. But he really does strike me as the one who'd be like, that's all? That's all. $151 for me. Have you not seen these apps? Opens the waist trainer. I'm light skinned. I'm gonna be in the house. Can I hear 250? 250 anybody. And I'll stick a ball and chain in his mouth and drag him off the fucking platform. I'm definitely going to hell. Oh my God.
Just pull yourself together.
Oh. He seems like he has a bidding booth at the auction block. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Oh God. Can we put him in the dunk tank at least? So just like, and then you have to be able to really whip it. You got to be able to really whip a fucking roll of toilet paper at the at the target to drop him into the tank. How do we even get on this? We're taking The greased stripper pole to hell. Oh my God. Shout out to the replay gang. Snatching it from the auctioneer. $250. Come on. Fuck yes, he would. Shit. Oh God, he would definitely snatch the mic from the auctioneer. $150. Excuse me. I've seen these apps. Shit. Oh. What were we talking about? Oh, right. Soulja Boy in jail. Okay. Oh, God. We're going to hell. Champagne, cotton. Oh, my God. Oh, we're going to hell. And what about my gambling finger? I've been training for weeks. You know what really irritated me? I'm just gonna, we're gonna pretend it's after dark and not 10:40 in the morning. Not even this finger. You didn't even work out this finger. We like this finger. We like this finger more than we like this finger. We like this finger. You didn't even work out the most sacred finger you got. Disappointing. Oh, God. What? You know I'm right. I'm so dumb. Oh God, I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't do that. I was thinking to myself yesterday, did I put Drake and Yahoo in the book? I don't think initially I did put Drake and Yahoo because I told y'all to come up with a list and I told you I would put it in the book. And Drake and Yahoo was on the list. And I remember the first time I was, deciding which ones to copy over, I was like, I can't put that in the book. But I think on the second time I went over, I think I was like, nah, fuck it. I'm gonna put Drake and Yahoo in the book. I don't think I can put Auction Block Papi. Drake and Yahoo took my breath away. I was like, there were a couple of them that took my breath away where I'm like, boy, people are brutal. But it is in the section of the book where I talk about once you become a joke, once people stop taking you seriously, once the persona becomes a character, and then it becomes everybody else's IP, basically, and you lose control over it. It's Creative Commons Papi. Oh my God. What happened? This was not on the agenda. It's funny because I was thinking to myself, oh, this is kind of a tame agenda, I wonder if people will be entertained. I definitely don't usually think of that, but I don't want y'all to be bored either. But God damn. No. No. Oh, free little auction boy. Oh my God. See, and if I put it in the book, then I got to QR code it. And I'm pretty sure I already have a QR code there for something else. I'm going to have to think about this. Oh, Oh, God. Ugh. Auction block Papi. It's giving pick me energy. I do have a Drake video that is titled Drake Has a Pick Me Problem. Oh, it is. It is getting warm in here. It is. Braun knows which finger. That's why he's still got Savannah. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Y'all pull yourselves together. I need that. liveapps@gmail.com. I need that. I need that. This is crazy. This is crazy, and it's gonna have me giggling. It's because it's gonna randomly pop into my head. Are you serious? Oh, wow. Now they kept houseboys in the house for a reason. To serve somebody. We're going to hell. Hello, beautiful. We're going to hell, okay? But we're going together. Mm, mm, mm. A cab. A cab. Oh. Mm, 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 mm. Whew, all right, okay. This is an unfortunate, switch of topic, but Rod Stewart, who is notoriously tone dead and an idiot, is also apparently still alive. That's who you see over there down there in the corner right down there. Yeah, that's who you see right there down there in the corner right there. That's what that's from. That's Ozzy Osbourne. But Rod Stewart, who apparently is still alive and still singing, caused a stir at his concert on August 1 when he projected AI images of the late Ozzy Osbourne posing next to deceased musicians in heaven. Ever since Osbourne's death on July 22, Stewart has been dedicating his hit song, Forever Young, to the Black Sabbath frontman at shows along his One Last Time tour. Conventionally, Stewart would sing the sentimental ballad with images of Osbourne projected behind him in an affectionate tribute. Stewart's August 1 concert at the Ameris Bank Amphitheater outside Atlanta, Georgia, took the tribute in a different direction. While the song's accompanying images started as standard shots of Osbourne, they eventually evolved into AI-generated visuals of the rocker posing with Prince, Tina Turner, Bob Marley, Freddie Mercury, Kurt Cobain, George Michael, Amy Winehouse, all standing on cloudy and celestial backdrops to suggest a heavenly afterlife. The show also featured AI videos of Osbourne next to late controversial figures such as Michael Jackson and XXXTentacion. I can never fucking pronounce this dude's name. XXXTentacion. According to Rolling Stone, at a show in Charlotte, North Carolina, a few days prior, Stewart ended the song saying, after just showing this brother's face, very sad. A lot of those people died because of drugs. I'm still here, though. Not a fucking thing. Very sad. A lot of those people died because of drugs. I'm still here, though. How fucking dare you? How fucking dare you? You're not using AI generated images of my fucking loved one and then announcing, I'm still here. They died of drugs. Fuck you. And then what about the people who didn't die of drugs? What a tosser. I think it's quite evil. I think it's quite evil. A lot of those people died because of drugs. I'm still here, though. Stewart's audience appeared understandably puzzled at the performance, with several of the concertgoers sharing their baffled reactions on social media. Reps for Stewart and the Osbourne family did not immediately respond. One of the people in the audience posted on, which is where I got this photo from, because the full photo looks like Ozzy Osbourne is holding a selfie stick, taking this picture of them. It's AI generated. He's holding a selfie stick, and the woman in the audience captioned it, "This is the craziest, most disrespectful shit I ever saw in my life." It's a Black woman. What the fuck are you doing at a Rod Stewart concert? Was he opening for Drake? I don't understand. She's got the zoomies. I just love the way you do down the stairs. You're so serious about it. It sounds so cute. This is one of them ones. God, this is just the We're Going to Hell live stream. But yeah, this is one of them ones. Gone too late. It's like when Ozzy Osbourne died. I mean, the whole family is trash, but really, you could have picked a different one. It would have been better. Would have done the world a whole ass favor. Taking the other half of that sick and twisted union. But, whatever. Far be it from me to question the work orders. Well, fuck her twice. Her deal with a devil face. No. Oh, look, there he is. You see the tail doing that thing? He's feeling frisky. He's out there. You want to see a little niglet just looking for some trouble? That's what he's doing. Boy, ain't nothing out there. Boy, ain't nothing out there. Oh man, I would send a cease and desist to that motherfucker so fast. It's so despicable. It's so disrespectful. And then again, you center yourself. I'm still here though. Fuck you. This is why we saw the president naked last week. We saw that. We sure did. This is also why we saw Obama getting dragged out of a chair in the Oval Office and handcuffed at Donald's feet, or chased down the 405 in OJ's Bronco. Deep fakes. And remember, this man is trying to prevent all states from regulating AI in any way, shape, or form. I mean, I think that's, for her, it's nothing but a phone call. Now, if he acts stupid, she'll fuck him up. Princey, the people say. Princey said, "What do you peasants want? What do you peasants want?" I think the most popular account on OnlyFans is AI. If not the top one, definitely in the top 5. It's an AI woman. D-Blaze. That's why I stay off social media. Those tech weirdos ain't getting me, and I'm not participating in malarkey. I feel you. I feel you. Cats are good for that. All right, let's move on to JID. JID announced his world tour. So I guess if you follow this account on whatever social media platform it was posted on, then you know. If you don't, then you don't know. Because he certainly didn't say shit anywhere else. He also seems to be carefully shading Dreamville. He liked this post by somebody who was saying, I'm not sure it's a Dreamville idea. JID been moving independently lately. He liked that post. And then this. Somebody posted, anybody else on Dreamville, don't do no dumb shit while JID about to release. God damn, let that nigga have a peaceful week, please. JID reposted that about his fellow label mates. Like, nigga damn, please. And there's this one where the person said, JID, I want to fuck with your music. The only issue preventing me from enjoying it is mainly your association with that Dreamville sweatshop. I appreciate your efforts to do your own thing and separate from the rest of the Dreamville NPCs like Bass. You need to leave that sweatshop. JID's response was, bro, be nice. I've been figuring shit out. We almost were. We need to be. So he might be, trying to play footsie and all that shit because he hasn't fully formed his spine. But come on, bro. We're not stupid. We've been talking about this shit for weeks. We're not dumb. This is shit niggas with Lil in front of their name do. Got a little mentality, a little spine. Just say what it is. Claim it. Add it to your narrative. Define it for the people. Stop playing these little social media ass games. This is not a tour announcement. We've been talking about it more than he's been talking about his album. The album isn't done if you're waiting for anything. The album is done. I'm just waiting on. Nope. I'm going to stop you right there. Again, this is childish bullshit. Kiki says, didn't JID tweet, the album is done. I'm just waiting on 2 verses and a flute. If you don't get those by Friday, then the album is not done. It's not done. If you still waiting for some shit, it's not done. That's like me telling y'all the book is done. The book is obviously not done. So the album not done. If you still waiting for things to go on the album, then the album is not done. I don't understand. Rhetorically speaking, I don't understand how these artists are getting right up to a release point and your shit's not done. What the fuck are you doing? What is everybody else around you doing? Maybe if you didn't have to make your own posters and design your own tickets. She ain't said shit. When's the last time Cole said something about somebody? Also, did Earth Gang leave Dreamville? I don't even know what I will do. I don't even know what I will do if the flute is 3 stacks. I don't know what I will do. I don't know how I will feel. Disgust. Disgust. Because Earth Gang is going on tour with Clips, right? That shocked the hell out of me. Like, I have so many questions. I have so many questions. I have so many questions. And has that tour started or is about to start? Because they haven't been promoting anything insofar as I'm aware. You would think it would be the perfect time. Okay, so they were there last night, but they haven't been doing anything substantial. Cool. Yeah, how they conduct themselves on this tour might have a great impact on their ability to get out. Because you're gonna have 2 OGs who are up close and watching how you move through that whole experience. I'm so curious as to how that came together, and I don't think either party has discussed it yet publicly, which is interesting. This is probably another reason why Joseph Naughty Bottoms is freaking out. Afro Butterfly, August 30 is the cutoff for Grammy submissions. If we don't hear anything by the end of this month, projects are getting shelved until next year. Not all, but some. But some. If you don't have fourth quarter kind of weight on your project, it don't really matter. They, sometimes they shelve shit forever so that they can write it off. They can do that. They do that with movies. You can do that with all kinds of shit. So Joseph Naughty Bottoms not in a good place. Kiki says, I think these folks have until the fall off to fulfill their label obligations and get the fuck out because Cole either selling it or dismantling it. Right. Right. Because Dreamville, the festival is going to be called something else. That is just We're keeping Dreamville Fest. We're gonna be calling it something else, and it's not Dreamville Fest. What are we doing here? Come on. That's the same kind of rationale. I'm a freestyle. Hold on, let me get my phone so I can pull up the lyrics. Nigga. That's not a freestyle. Interesting. Regardless, I'm curious about how that came about. Real curious. Yeah, I agree. But they got some nerve to say it's gonna be the same thing, but it's not gonna be called that. Why not? You didn't pay for the naming rights? That just seems so stupid. I don't care. I'm never going, but anyway. I agree with your previous statement. Folks got until the fall off, whenever the fuck that's gonna happen. That might be a fourth quarter drop. Then they can make a clean break on the fiscal calendar year. And then it's break it up, part and parcel, sell it off. But this is just, as someone said, we talk about this entire situation more than JID talks about the album. And, you know, God does like world tour. What does that mean? Is there one? No link, no information, no nothing. All of this is happening in a vacuum. And Kiki had a great video. If you haven't seen it, you should go watch it. Talking about maybe he really doesn't give a fuck about the performance of this album. We can't figure it out. So we don't know. We can't figure it out. Ooh, child, that's a good one. That's a bar. Che, it's woke up from the Dreamville, I guess. No, I guess. That's the bar. Oh, I froze there for a minute. So sorry. Don't know why that was. Young Fuss. Hi, Princey. I don't think the fall off is even dropping ever. Cole has been pump faking and jab stepping with that album for nearly a decade now. Yeah, it is. It's giving Cardi. Giving Cardi B. Great point. Great point, Kiki. Physical sales don't count if they're not shipped the first week the album drops. His vinyl is shipping next year. He clearly doesn't give a fuck. I don't think maybe he did, but initially he didn't attach the Gold Snake Oil album to God Does. No name, no track list, coming 2026. Maybe he has since attached it. And that's just trash and ridiculous. And it still says you don't have the money to invest in getting it pressed now. And that's an indicator of a problem. There's no money being spent to press it now. Well, it's not done. Okay. It's not done, so I guess you can't press it. There's that. Ugh. Yeah, I don't think there was ever a chance that that was gonna happen, especially given what we know now about what they've done with Project 3 and Project 3 Agency, acquiring a whole 'nother international company. There was no way this was ever a real possibility. This is Cole in his light-skinned delusion. This is Cole in his light-skinned delusion that you could even fix your face. Come over to Dreamville. Are you crazy? Come on, bro. Come on. Come on. We have been very frustrated because let me be clear. Um, on this channel, we want JID to win. We want the album to be good. We don't at this point in time have a lot of faith that the album is gonna be good or great. I mean, it could be good. I would say, okay. We don't think that the album is going to be great. And the lack of investment in the lead up to it is not acceptable for a label to do that. So we've thrown a lot of criticism where it is deserved at Dreamville. We've also talked about JID's public persona and what it's giving and what it's not giving, and how you cultivate that if you are an introvert or if you are, publicity averse. Um, I said he needs Project 3 agency. And I stand by that assessment. He needs 360-degree support with everything. He needs brand recognition, a vision and a path and a plan for his ascension, if that's really what he wants to do with his career. We want him to win. And I'm speaking for the chat as well. We are fucking disgusted with Dreamville. And irritated because it's not fair to the artists and it's insulting to the audience as well. To not make that level of investment and honor us as the audience. I heard about it. Mhm. It's a very loud truck backing up on my street because it thought it could cut through and ignored all of the "this is a goddamn dead end" signs. It's always fun. It's a big truck, so it can't turn around. It has to slowly back out whilst not hitting anybody else's vehicle. Annoying. Very annoying. So that's what's going on with JID. He's chirpy online, but in that little boy footsie kind of way. Dochi pre-sale starting live from the Swamp Tour. That just popped up in the Discord. Luna Lemon 11, thank you for posting that. So that's great. There's a lot of things that you can do as an introvert. That's because it's a part of your brand. Distance, but accessibility becomes a part of the brand, and that's workable. That's workable. There are artists that never go outside. Only do interviews via submit your question and I'll write out my answer and you print the whole fucking thing. There are 1,000 ways, effective ways to brand and promote your stuff based on who you are authentically are. And Dreamville just does not put in that effort. They didn't do it for Ari, and they're not doing it for JID. And for him to shade his fellow label mates, that's a cold hustle. You're saying that you expect fuckery from other people on this label. That's sad. That's really sad. Guess y'all aren't really a very tight-knit co-op in there then, are you? Rhetorical. No, you're not. No, you're not. Young Fuss. I know Kendrick looked at the Dream Bill idea and was like, boy, if you don't get out of my face with this trash business with no plan. Yeah. They on our necks with this good music, good performance shit. They on our necks, you know? They on our necks. All right. So that's what's going on with Young JID and Dreamville's utter failures. And I'm sure it's like, you know, when you are leaving a job, you've given your 2 weeks notice, you don't like the job, you don't like nobody there. Every day that you inch closer to the last day becomes harder and harder and harder to hold your tongue. And that's what I feel like we're starting to see. He's almost there. He's sick of the bullshit and he's starting to chirp. Boy, we've been chirping on your behalf for weeks over here. Chirping on your behalf. There are 1,000 things. Again, there are 1,000 things that he could do to promo this album instead of splitting the promo between a bunch of different things. What was it called? The Prelux? There was that. That took away from it. He released, did we figure out if Work was a single? But we didn't get a rollout for this album. And since it's not done, we might not get the album. I don't even know. We'll find out on Friday. No, it was not a single, or no, we didn't figure it out. Well, I definitely don't watch that shit. But it won't be out. It won't be on YouTube available to the public before the album comes out. Because Budden holds it. Unless he's making an exception. We didn't figure it out. So we don't even know if Work was a single. We don't know what it was. Again, all this, it should not be this confusing to be able to identify a project and track it. The branding and marketing is fucking trash. Period. I can close my eyes and think of several artists and several upcoming projects, and I have a visual in my head that I can attach to it. I have no visual in my head for this upcoming album except what came out with Work, which was football players on the field in a video and some other shit. But there's nothing visual to attach to it that you can then, oh yeah, oh there. You can see a corner of Eclipse promo and you know what the fuck it is. Their album is fucking pink. A distinct pink. You're like, wait, is that Malice? Yep. So yeah. It's disjointed, discombobulated, and very disappointing. And obviously, we're not gonna collectively forget about the album, but in the in-between, I forget about it all the damn time. Unless somebody posts something in the Discord, and then I'm like, "Oh, right, JID, right. Right. That's coming." So it's just unfortunate, and I hope this is the last goddamn time that this happens with him. And I hope anybody who is at Dreamville gets out. So hit those likes. We covered all that fuckery? We sure did. Shout out to whomever it was last night in the chat. We had 2 lives yesterday. Oops. So I can't remember who it was, but shout out to the person who said Issa Rae got sued over one of them days for stealing it. I said, "Oh, I want to find that lawsuit. I want to read it." And then I got really sad because I knew that it was filed in California, and I figured I was going to have to go through local court, and that is extremely expensive. And you all know I get really pouty when I have to do that. I don't like it at all. But I forgot that it's a copyright case, so it's federal. And it's only 10 pages. It's federal, and it's only 10 pages. So I haven't read it. This is a copyright infringement, misappropriation of ideas, and conversion complaint where a jury trial is demanded, filed on behalf of Joshua Isaacson, Sean Oku, and Tyrone Perry against Sony Pictures Entertainment, TriStar Pictures, Color Creative Productions, Color Creative Incorporated, Color Creative LLC, Cyrita Singleton, and Doe's 1 through 10. This was scanned poorly, so it's a little askew and a little faded. I'm sure the original document is in pristine condition, but the scan is a little wonky. Plaintiff Joshua Isaacson, at all times hereinafter mentioned, is a resident of the state of California. Okay, that's parties. Let me get through all of these damn entities. All plaintiffs herein are successful screenwriters, directors, and movie producers. In and around January of 2020, plaintiffs collectively wrote the screenplay entitled One of Those Days. Hereinafter, those days, or the screenplay. So we've got a one-word difference. We've got a screenplay that was written that was called One of Those Days. And then we've got a screenplay and a movie, One of Them Days. Those, them. Those being the original copywritten work that they are alleging was stolen, basically. The plaintiffs are the original authors of the screenplay. Plaintiffs own the rights and title to the copyright, and the screenplay has been registered with the United States Copyright Office. On October 18, 2023, Danny Hamui, a well-known movie industry producer, and plaintiff Isaacson agreed to shop the screenplay to secure a distribution deal with a major movie distributor. Plaintiff Isaacson emailed the screenplay to Danny Hamui. This was the first time the screenplay was ever given to a third party. The plaintiffs to date have not heard from Danny Hamui as to the outcome of shopping the screenplay. On October 7, 2024, plaintiffs Isaacson and Oku had a Zoom meeting with Xavier Charles and Roman Arabia, co-owners of Green Eggs Go Ham, hereinafter GEG, well-known content creators in the movie industry, in an effort to secure funding and possibly a major movie distribution deal. The screenplay was given to Green Eggs in an email on April 8, 2024. On April 12, 2024, Green Eggs notified the plaintiffs that they would not be able to assist in shopping or assisting in funding the screenplay. Unbeknownst to plaintiffs, on April 26, Deadline.com announced the motion picture One of Them Days would be produced by Issa Rae. The plaintiffs later learned that Xavier Charles of Green Eggs was a stuntman on the HBO TV series Insecure, which was produced and starred Issa Rae, the founding member of Color Creative, a defendant in this case. The title of the screenplay, One of Those Days, and the title of the motion picture, One of Them Days, were strongly similar. January 17, 2025, One of Them Days was released in the United States and Canada. According to the credits of One of Them Days, it is alleged to have been written by Singleton and not the plaintiffs. After viewing One of Them Days, the plaintiffs noticed at least 29 similarities in the screenplay, in their screenplay, and One of Them Days. Such information was sent to defendant Sony Pictures and TriStar Pictures Counsel January 31. The defendants infringed on the plaintiff's copyright by essentially releasing a motion picture that is strongly similar to plaintiff's screenplay. One of Them Days and the screenplay have strong similarities in underlying story structure, according to screenwriter expert John Brancato. So first cause of action, copyright infringement. The screenplay written by the plaintiffs are original works of authorship and registered with the U.S. Copyright Office. Defendants, without permission or consent and without authority, infringed plaintiff's copyright and exclusive rights. Defendants' acts of infringement have been willful, intentional, and purposeful in disregard of and indifference to the rights of plaintiffs. Defendants' conduct is causing, and unless immediately enjoined, will continue to cause enormous irreparable harm to plaintiffs. Defendants' conduct must be stopped, and plaintiffs must be compensated for defendants' willful acts of infringement. Defendants do not have any authorization, permission, or consent to use the screenplay. Second cause of action, misappropriation of ideas. That's stealing. Third cause of action, conversion. Defendants intentionally and well-knowingly converted the money earned from the screenplay to its own use and benefit without plaintiff's permission or lawful cause. Complaint for damages. They want damages and profits in such amount to prove. They want an accounting from defendants attributable to their infringements of plaintiff's copyrights in the screenplay. They want attorney's fees, cost, and disbursements. Prejudgment interest in an amount according to proof. Such other relief. Damages and profits. Court costs. So we have that. We have Exhibit B, which I haven't looked at any of this, but this is communications between attorneys, Sony's attorney, Sony Entertainment's attorney. And this is where they lay out how the parties wound up getting the original screenplay as written by the people filing the lawsuit to be able to copy from it. And then it goes through and it lays out every single, not a coincidence, And then they also have, and I'm going to come back to that document, but then they also, we can look at a couple of examples that they're talking about. They also have a declaration from a man named John Brancato. He is a subject matter expert. Graduated cum laude from Harvard College in 1980 with a degree in philosophy, credited screenwriter for motion picture and network television since '88, chairperson of the Screen Credits Committee, chaired the Screen Credits Review Committee and the Writers Guild of America West. I have been a credit arbiter for the WGA since '95, and he attaches all of his credentials. I have read the screenplay of One of Those Days, written by Josh Isaacson, Tyrone Perry, and Sean Oku, and watched the film One of Them Days, released through Sony Pictures TriStar. For all of the differences in character, action, dialogue, and tone, I found there to be strong similarities in underlying story structure. One of Those Days depicts the adventure of two young women in inner city Los Angeles, Amy Heller and Tiffany Jones. Amy has a job as at a cannabis dispensary, and is conscientious about her work. Her friend Tiffany is a party animal. Both are broke. This is the original screenplay. Amy volunteers to sell a load of marijuana on the streets for her boss, Reginald, who threatens to do her harm if she fails. When the marijuana is taken by aliens who then disappear, Amy and Tiffany scramble to track down the stolen dope and or find ways to make enough money to save themselves. These quests drive them through a series of often absurd adventures, encountering strange and sometimes threatening characters along the way. They even visit outer space. All their efforts fail, and it looks like they're going to face Reginald's cruel wrath. Yet they are saved when their aliens give them a magic bong, which Reginald plans to manufacture and make a fortune. The script fast forwards in time to show that both Amy and Tiffany have become happy and successful. One of Them Days, the movie, tells the story of two young women in inner city Los Angeles, Drew Jones and Alyssa. Drew is a waitress in a diner, a hard worker with ambitions to rise into management. Alyssa is an artist, more of a free spirit. Both are broke. When Alyssa's worthless boyfriend, Keyshawn, disappears with their rent money, Drew and Alyssa face eviction by their villainous landlord. They then set off on a series of adventures trying to track down Keyshawn and or find ways to make enough money to avoid eviction. Drew tries to sell her blood. The stakes rise when they run afoul of a gangbanger by selling his sneakers. At the climax, the many threats are resolved at a pop-up art show where Drew gets her dream job and connects with the man of her dreams, while Alyssa sells her paintings and turns in the gangbanger to a collection agency. The film then fast forwards to show that both women have become happy and successful. The screenplay and the film are dissimilar in many ways. One of Those Days is often absurd and hallucinatory. One of Them Days is grounded in the realities of inner city life. Amy and Tiffany are crude stoners, while Drew and I'm assuming it's Drew. I don't know. I haven't seen the movie. It's not my cup of tea. Drew and Alyssa are developed three-dimensional characters. The specific adventures the two pairs undergo are entirely different. Yet the spine of the story is much the same. Both the screenplay and the film revolve around two young women living in inner city Los Angeles, struggling to make ends meet. An inciting event launches them into a desperate scramble to find cash. Otherwise, they face disaster. Their quest drives them through a series of comic situations. When things look darkest, their fortunes reverse, and the women triumph. In a coda, events fast forward to show that both women are now thriving. I have been involved in the screen credits process of the WGA since the early 1990s, arbitrating and overseeing the arbitration of dozens of films. I have served as chairperson of both the Screen Credits Committee and the Screen Credits Review Committee. If I were given the screenplay One of Those Days and tasked with arbitrating the credits for the film One of Them Days, using the formulae and practices of the WGA, I would give the writers of the screenplay a shared story credit with the writers of One of Them Days, and full screenplay credit to the writers of one of them days. I declare under penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of California that the foregoing is true and correct. Whoa. That is a damning attachment. That is a damning attachment. I have been involved in the screen credits process of the WGA since the early 90s, arbitrating and overseeing the arbitrations of dozens of films. I have served as chairperson of both the Screen Credits Committee and the Screen Credits Review Committee. If I were given the screenplay one of those days and tasked with arbitrating the credits for the film one of them days using the formulae and practices of the WGA, I would give the writers of the screenplay a shared story credit with the writers of one of them days and a full screenplay credit to the writers of one of them days. Wow. That's really damning. That is a really damning statement. So again, I'm sure a lot of y'all have seen this. I have not. Um I mean, they get right down to a lot of detail. In their script, the Maverick character, SZA's character, with a non-traditional job approach, drives a beater, a yellow Pinto-like car. In our script, the same character, Amy, drives a 97 Geo Prism, which is a total beater as well. In their script, the name of the Maverick character with a non-traditional job approach starts with an A and is named Alyssa. In our script, her name starts with an A and is Amy. In the original short, the two main characters get beaten up and robbed for their money, which is the same in both scripts. The red-haired girl in their script beats up both SZA and Kiki Palmer's characters and takes their money after kicking their ass. Both scripts feature the characters living in a rundown apartment within the hood. In both scripts, the characters struggle with money problems. Both scripts showcase the characters living paycheck to paycheck, trying to escape their financial troubles by any means necessary. Money is owed to a dangerous and thug-like authoritative figure in both scripts. In their script, the thug is Lolo. In ours, it's Reginald, aka Doc Brown. Doc Brown in the initial short, so they created a short for their script, has two thug lackeys with him, which is the same as the villain Lolo, who has two lackeys with him as Lolo enters the party. I wonder where this short is, because the short sounds pretty key as a mid-link to our screenplay and their screenplay are too similar for it to be a coincidence. It sounds like the short that they produced probably for investment purposes is a link in there in the middle. The character SZA's character has a scene in the introduction of her character that involves sexual activity and getting banged by her boyfriend. In our script, Amy is lying in bed with her girlfriend about to engage in an intimate act. The characters in both films connect with other characters after putting an ad out on the internet at a public park. The thug character has two guys with him as he enters a party and fires the gun to clear the room. This is similar to a version of our script as well. Both scripts showcase a gun being fired, which clears the room or the party. Both scripts showcase the two main characters being chased into an alley after run-ins with assailants, heightening the tension. In one script, it is because they are being chased by Denise, the angry lover. In the other script, it is because the main characters are being chased by MIB. In their script, SZA's boyfriend is given the rent money and dips and cannot be found or contacted. In our script, the weed vanishes along with the thief, who also cannot be found or contacted, setting our characters in a race against time to solve their problem. The use of an unruly, poorly trained dog is in both movies. Ours is utilized throughout the meeting of the Pookie's dog in outer space, and the dog is scarily aggressive. Theirs is utilized through the meeting of Bethany's dog in their apartment complex, and the dog poops everywhere and chews things up. Both movies feature a caught cheating scenario that is linked to finding out more about the thief, where one of the parties involved is clueless about the occurrence, but the two main characters are privy to it. In one script, it is an affair with a basketball player that a wife is having, but she has convinced her husband it was an alien abduction. In the other script, Keyshawn is cheating with Denise, but Denise has yet to discover the betrayal. So they didn't say it was original. They said the specificity of the script. They said the specificity of the script. They didn't say it was original. They said the specificity of the script and demonstrated a link of how they likely got access to the script. And then they have one of the people in Hollywood who is responsible for deciding whose names go on credits in movies legally, based on IP and ownership and work, et cetera, et cetera. And that person has submitted a declaration to the court that says, I have been involved in the screen credits process of the WGA since the early 1990s, arbitrating and overseeing the arbitration of dozens of films. I have served as chairperson of both the Screen Credits Committee and the Screen Credits Review Committee. If I were given the screenplay one of those days and tasked with arbitrating the credits for the film one of them days, using the formulae and practices of the WGA, I would give the writers of the screenplay one of those days a shared story credit with the writers of one of them days, and a full screenplay credit to the writers of one of them days. So the timing sequencing is problematic. The connection between who they gave it to and that person or people having a connection to Issa Rae, problematic. And then nuanced similarities within the story, not generalities. 29 nuanced similarities in the story. And at least one person saying, I professionally, as a subject matter expert who determines these things for a living, would put petitioners in the credits of the movie for the screenplay. Issa got a problem. So that's the lawsuit. Since it's federal, I got the docket alerts for it. They'll do what they're going to do. They're going to respond to it, or they're going to file a motion to dismiss, one or the other. But all parties have to respond. They don't have to respond together. They once they get served a summons, that's when the clock starts on each party's response time. So we probably won't have a lot to say about this in the interim, but it is something that I'm going to follow because you know, I've been side-eyeing some things in the Issa Rae direction for some time. And I really hope it's not true in general because it's just really shitty. You know, I think they have a well-pleaded, viable complaint at this stage. Short, sweet, to the point, get them in the door, and we'll see what happens from there. So, if Issa Rae started writing this, or whoever is on the writer's line, I think it's actually, what is her name? The woman who was involved in rap shit. Cyrita Singleton, I believe, is who got the writer credit on this. If Cyrita started writing this 5 years beforehand, then there would be metadata to back that up, and metadata is on the whole writing thing is probably going to become central to this case. What was actually written when? So metadata will be pretty significant because what was written when is going to come into play. What was revised when is going to come into play, and what contemporaneous documentation do they have, metadata and other documentation do they have to prove that they wrote it and they weren't significantly influenced by pulling details from somebody else's script. That's just flat out what it comes down to. Simple as that. I wonder if I can copyright these titties. I'm sure I can in some kind of way. Huh. That's a good research question. Yeah, I've had intellectual property stolen as well. I've had to go to court. I've had to go to court. I had an employment situation where I created a curriculum, a first-time curriculum, industry standard setting curriculum. And when I left, the CEO tried to tell me that I could never write anything on the topic that the curriculum was on ever again in my career. First of all, you hired me because I was one of the only people writing things about this topic before you hired me. So that was proof that what I gave you was actually my intellectual property for your one product. You do not then get to tell me that I can never write another thing, work with another company that is working on a similar thing. Like, your curriculum is proprietary to you, but the intellectual property that was required to build it originated here. The what comes first, second, what words to put to it, how to define certain, that came from here. And other industry best practices established around the world. So, who the fuck is you? I had to get a lawyer because I was like, fuck no. And so was my lawyer, who said that in her professional experience happens all the time. And she was not a white woman, but she was not a black woman, my lawyer. And she said she had represented more black women than anything on this kind of issue, of an employer or a client saying to them, you can never again on, that's not a part of our deal or our contract. That's nowhere in there. It's not until you're on your way out the door that they're like, we won't give you your last pay unless you sign this thing saying you will never, you will never, you will never, you will never. I was like, you're out of your fucking mind. I'm not doing that. I feel like it is. The fucking, and her name was Karen. The CEO's name was Karen. That was the last time I worked for a white woman. That was it. That was the last time I worked for a white woman. And her name was Karen. And she was fucking horrendous. And the absolute nerve and gall. She really tried to buoy me before I left. She tried to buoy me. And that didn't work well. That didn't work well. But she was so livid at, me chucking deuces. Basically, and being like, I'm not putting up with this racist bullshit. She was so angry. Just the dumbest. I remember I got a certification for a thing, and the class that I took, they issued you a workbook. You had to pay for it. The company paid for it, but it's a workbook. So I wrote you work in it. So it's only a one-use thing. Issued me a list of property to return to the company or I wouldn't get paid, along with sign this thing agreeing you won't do this, and this. Workbook was on there. Pens were on there. Business cards were on there. I mean, some of the dumbest shit was on that list where I was like, you must be fucking kidding. You must be fucking kidding. I tore every page out of that workbook and gave it back because my intellectual property was in the margins. I tore every page out. They got the front cover and the back cover of like a 400-page workbook by hand. Didn't take it down to Kinko's and say, cut this for me. I ripped every page out by hand. Here's your fucking book. Yeah. She was a petty, 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 awful person. It's not illegal. If you're in possession of a company's property, they can certainly say, we've got your check until you give us back the laptop or whatever. So, yeah, wanted me to sign a thing. You won't alter any files on the laptop. I altered every file I put on that laptop off of that laptop. You must be kidding. No. Strip that thing down to its standard settings, just like how I received it. Here you go. Anything that is actually your work product is on the company's server. Anything that's my intellectual property is gone off of this computer. and they were pissed, threatened me, bunch of shit. But your work product is on the server. Your curriculum, every version of your curriculum is on the server. My IP is on my external hard drive that I connected to your nice little laptop. Moved it off. Yes, I did. Then I defragmented the computer so that you can't restore it back. Have a nice day. Give me my fucking check. Thank you for the super sticker, beautiful. Raphael, thank you for the $10. A Brown for that 20. Appreciate you. T Mac coming through. Appreciate you, beautiful. Thank you for the $10 super sticker. Appreciate y'all. And I definitely pulled a until you do right by me, everything you think about gonna crumble. And that's pretty much what happened after I left. Yeah. Yeah. We got about 5-6 minutes. Anything else going on? Auction block Papi. Jesus. Jesus, we going to hell. We going to hell. At least it's warm. At least it's warm. You can watch the first 3 episodes of Silo. I'm not very talkative though. I'm trying to get better about actually commentating when watching things. I usually pause and or say it at the end, or I'll do text on screen. But there are a couple things on what's it called? Apple TV that are new that I kind of want to check out. And I was thinking, maybe I will record those for Patreon. And then I stopped and was like, well, if I'm going to record those, I need to start with a couple episodes of Silo so I can see if I can hook the people. Hook the people on that good show. But the next couple things I watch, I may be doing more talking because I will have not seen those things before, and I will be having just natural reactions as as the show is happening. Beyonce released a new commercial for Levi's and a bunch of shit on her shop, and I just appreciate it because everybody's like, "Oh my god, Act 2 is over. I'm so sad. What am I gonna do about it?" And Beyonce said, "Bitch, it's over when I say it's over." Did I say it was over? I didn't say it was over. You wanna talk about some good jeans? Bitch, you better get these good jeans. I said, Miss Carter, ma'am, they're too expensive for me, but tell him, girl, tell him. You ain't gonna tell me my shit's done. I tell you when my shit's done. I know that's right. So, yeah. I saw that. What else? Like I said, pre-sale sign up for Doechii has started. Clips tour has started. That's about it. Miniature instead of Lil? is brutal. Miniature instead of Lil is brutal. I don't even know why Lil started, but I hate it so fucking much. There is not a name that starts with Lil that I like. Not one. Princey agrees. He's also disgusted. Oh, thank you. When he reaches out to me and then grabs my hand so he can kiss it. Don't be looking at me with those cutesy little lovey eyes, boy. I'm glad that you got to see them. First show, you stood on business. You stood on business. First show, I guess you got to get it in when you can get it in because it's not like they're going to be there for a week. So I would absolutely hate it if Beyonce was like, Act 3 starts in Seattle. I'd be like, no, 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 please, no, no. I want you to come to Seattle at least 20 shows in because you done changed shit. You done changed shit. I want to see it then. No, they weren't thinking about her at all. If they were, they would have put it out after Beyonce's ad. They weren't thinking about Beyonce. They're not trying to put up Sydney Sweeney against Beyonce. Absurd. Bless your heart. Have you seen Beyonce's ass? You better go watch that ad. You know what's funny is I do believe it's like ice stained denim. I said, this bitch taking out the Iceman. He ain't even got started. The ad opens with her throwing a bucket of ice into the washing machine and then taking off her pants. I said, this bitch is a cold hustle. This bitch is a cold hustle. He's a little crazy, but he is a sweetie. He's definitely a lover. That was the first thing I thought of when I saw Beyonce's fucking jeans ad this morning, was like, this poor Iceman can't get a break. Beyonce said, I know how to brand ice. All right, y'all. Well, gotta go. And they can stay mad. I'll see y'all soon. Take care. Peace.